Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk, a literary podcast where we've been deep diving into your favorite novels. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy. And our listeners love to share their thoughts and theories via email and voicemail, so we're sharing them via our weekly mini episodes.
The views expressed by the hosts and listeners are entirely their own and in no way represent the thoughts or intentions of the original author. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation on the characters and themes of this novel.
Spoilers may be discussed with or without warning. Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, death, and depression, will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to our mini episode series. During each mini, we'll be reading listener feedback and theories, as well as discussing all things Sarah J. Maas, including her ACOTAR, Crescent City, and Throne of Glass series.
This message is from Shannon. I'm currently painting a wall to look like Flores and had to stop to get on the computer, painted fingers and all. Okay, you guys talked a lot about how Feyre's lack of literacy comes up a lot in ACOTAR, which is the first book, and that when we get to really know who Feyre is and what she's like. You've also talked a lot about Nesta and how Feyre compares herself to her sister and talks a lot about her. I just finished Silver Flames, and in that book, where we get to know Nesta, it is the total opposite on literacy. The whole book is about Nesta and how she loves to read. The library in the house, the way the house gives her books, Cass gives her books, all about reading. I find it interesting in these two characters how their literacy is really focused on as part of who they are, how their mother made sure Nesta could read, but it wasn't important for Feyre to learn. I can't imagine that it wasn't purposefully done, seeing how much it gives light to their different backgrounds.
She's making a wall like Valaris?
That's cool.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
And then it sounds like finger paints? Like, that's awesome.
No, I wouldn't assume that.
I know that that's not what happened, but in my mind, she did finger painting of Valaris on her wall.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, back to this, which in my mind was very well done. So I'm not playing you down, Shannon. That's interesting, though, where it's like both daughters are very much defined by their ability to read or lack thereof.
Yeah, and it's so obvious, but I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
How their ability or lack thereof is huge. Well, at least for Feyre, it's a huge plot point. For Nesta, it's more just a huge personality trait that we see a lot of in Silver Flames.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue maybe no. Maybe in Silver Flames, a huge plot point is the fact that she reads, because that's how her and the house start to get along.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And it's part of her healing journey.
Yeah. I would say, though, like, because we don't really see this with Elain. Granted, we don't really have Elain's story, but how much is it based off of their upbringing versus it's a show of how opposite Feyre and Nesta are? Nesta had that fancy upbringing, schooling, and everything. Feyre doesn't really remember that. There's a TikTok I saw, And I'm not going to do it justice at all. But in Throne of Glass, the main character there, she's very into reading. Like, that's her thing. She's just like, I love to read. And then Farah's really into painting. And then the person was like, how does SJM then make her third heroine with Crescent City? Like, you know, you have painting, you have reading. How we're going to make her relatable and her interest? And then it's like, let's do drugs.
Yeah. Really love alcohol.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right. But yeah, I do enjoy that note. And I want to see the painting of your living room once you're done.
Yes, Shannon, please share a picture with us. I will say, when we get Elain's story, I'm going to be interested to see what SJM focuses on for Elain. Mm-hmm. Because in theory, Elain received the same upbringing as Nesta. But it's not necessarily such a divisive trait between her and Feyre.
We haven't figured out who Elain is.
Right.
You know, we see a lot of similarities between Elain and Feyre. And we're grasping at those similarities. You know, like some of them are obvious. Some of them are like, oh, you're making us reach for it. But it's going to be a sneaky, sneaky thing.
Yeah.
What SJM decides to do. For the listener, Amy's using my laptop to read today because she didn't have her laptop, her iPad. And all I see is Sexy Chicken Lingerie sticker staring at me. That's your sign to go to our Etsy shop to
get a Sexy Chicken Lingerie sticker.
This next message is from Sarah. Hi, Amy, Jack. I was on your live stream tonight and had to come share the Elain represents the mother theory because it's just too good. I honestly can't unsee it every time I read about Elain. And then Sarah has a link to this theory from Tumblr, and it adds to the theory. So here's the theory. If Nesta represents the cauldron, Elain is the mother, and Feyre represents the Fae, as she was made by all 7 High Lords and would complete the Trinity. I always found it odd the dresser they shared in childhood has Elain as the first drawer, though she's not the firstborn. Holy shit, sorry, I never realized that.
Yeah, no, it's, I was really, really impressed with this when I read it, so keep reading.
Yeah, I just had to take a moment to pause of, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
SJM brings the dresser up a lot. That is true. And even as Elain bakes a cake, food is power, to symbolize it in Frost and Starlight. Elain at the top is the all-powerful mother, gives life. Nesta is the cauldron, powerful, but useless without its support. They had to separate the cauldron's 3 legs to nullify it, and it took 3 people to support her through silver flames. Oh, that's such a good point. Feyre is the Fae, the being that ties the earth, or realm, together. Feyre is the foundation because without Fae, the story of the mother and cauldron ceased to exist. I hope you enjoyed the theory as much as I do, because it's basically fact in my head now. Can't wait to hear your theories. Oh.
I need to go and read the Tumblr post because I haven't, but just Sarah's theory add-on alone feels mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, like this part where it's like, you know, why was Elain put first?
Yeah, and we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think I responded to Sarah. My assumption always was that Elain being first before Nesta, though Nesta is firstborn, is Nesta showing deference to Elain.
You mean Feyre showing deference to Elain? Because Feyre is the one who painted them.
Yeah, but what if they already had chosen the drawers? So, like, Elaine's clothing has always been in the top drawer.
Okay, gotcha.
And Feyre just painted based on where people's stuff was.
Okay.
Nesta gives Elain the first drawer because Nesta's always prioritized Elain. Mm-hmm. And that was my interpretation of why Elain has the first drawer.
Yeah.
But it would be very, very interesting if it's symbolic of their powers or, I don't know.
What's also I love about that is I know with Nesta, her power, like at the end of Silver Flames, she hears a voice and people assume it's the mother. So I always associated the mother connection with Nesta as well. Granted, you know, Cauldron is much more associated with her, but she has a clear connection to the mother too.
Right. I know that people have also talked about like the 3-faced goddess.
Yeah.
And Mother Maiden Crone. And so I think in that case, though, people associate the crone with Nesta, the maiden with Elain, and the mother with Feyre.
Okay, so I brought up the theory.
Okay.
Should I just go through it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because you know I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. Like my entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
All right. So this is from a Tumblr post from Echo TZZZ. Elain the mother. This could be a crack theory, but regardless, I want to share about what I feel about this matter, and I'm sorry if it really sounds off or unjustifiable. Again, this is just a theory from my own interpretation. I truly feel that somehow Elain has some sort of connection with the mother, but not like how Nesta was. We know about the cauldron where it determines fate and the eddies of its swirling fluid, but what about the mother? Does it truly exist and have her own power or just an idea to the fairies? So my theory is that what if the cauldron chose Elain as the representative of the mother? What if she was the one that whispered to Nesta and prevented all of her power being taken away by the cauldron? Here's a quote. Her gaze shifted to the carved wooden rose she placed upon the mantle, half hidden in the shadows, behind a figurine of a supple body female, her uprising arms clasping a full moon between them. Some sort of primal goddess, perhaps even the mother herself. Nesta hadn't let herself dwell on why she felt the need to set the rose there, why she hadn't just thrown it in a drawer. I'm guessing that's probably when they went back to their old cottage.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to choose that. I believe the rose will represent Elain's journey in the next book, but is it coincidence that the rose, even though hidden in the shadows, were placed by the mother figure? Nesta even felt the need to put the rose in that position. Is this the foreshadowing SJM used that the shadows would represent Elain's love life and mother as the arc of her power? We don't know what are the whole scope of powers that Elain possesses and how powerful she is, but the thought that the cauldron itself blessed her with such gift must have some sort of meaning and reasoning, and not just because it found Elain to be lovely. There must be something beyond that. And then it goes into a lot more examples.
I think that's good for
now.
But
we're good. Yeah, I don't want to go into more. I get the gist.
Yeah, I do too. In Wings and Ruin, later on, we're going to see that the cauldron purrs when it sees Elain. Because it's not necessarily sentient, but it responds to her.
Oh, it likes her.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think that what if the cauldron is like representative of a lover of the mother? Like a companion of the mother.
Like the cauldron was the father to the mother.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So, and that could be why the cauldron favors her if she's connected to the mother.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for Elain's story.
I am too.
I mean, I love how much SJM really left out.
Yeah. Ugh. It just makes me salivate for more.
Right? Like she has enough clues that it could easily be like, oh, it's just coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can dive back into it. She did a great job setting up Elaine's story.
Yeah, I am so desperate for this story. More than I want more story.
Oh, absolutely.
This message is from Amy, and not myself, a different Amy.
Lies. You emailed the podcast.
So we know that there's a theme of cleanliness throughout the series, especially in Mist and Fury, as noted when Amren and Rhys use magic to clean Feyre, but it isn't a true clean. I feel that Feyre's guilt as we begin Mist and Fury, which we witness with her aversion to being seen as pure or dressed in white and the feeling of blood coating her hands constantly, also shows her struggle with being unclean physically and morally. This aversion to dirt is mirrored with Rhys. He picks invisible lint from his clothes. At first, I thought this was part of his High Lord mask. However, the lint being invisible leads me to believe that only he can see it. It's as if Rhys also sees himself as dirty or unclean or impure after his time under the mountain in which he was sexually assaulted. By itself, I think this is a beautiful metaphor and excellent mirroring of the characters to show their equality. When I thought about the first time they both feel and accept the mating bond and come together physically, it's in the cabin when they're surrounded by paint. Up until this point, both have shown obvious distaste with being dirty. This time, they almost seem to revel in their bodies being marked. And it's not just a little paint, it's streaked through their hair and ends up covering the sheets when they eventually move to the bedroom. Following their coupling, they take turns to clean one another in total harmonious bliss, but the paint is described more as a sign of where they have touched each other rather than dirt that must be cleaned. First of all, Amy, I love the point about Rhys picking off invisible lint.
I love that so much.
It's such a great call out because it's characteristic of him, right? Everyone talks about him picking lint off of himself, but it seems cartoonish rather than having purpose.
Yeah.
But now this idea that he's picking it off of him because he feels dirty all the time.
This is a literary analysis, people.
That's amazing.
I love this so much because that is what a literary analysis is. It's like, hey, here's a thing and here's why it could be. Is it? I don't know, but this is how I'm interpreting it and it's amazing. And that was such a great connection. I had not even thought about it at all. And that's such a well thought out point.
Yes. And it just makes me want to be better with my own characters. Like if I give them little ticks, the ticks have to be grounded in purpose.
Yeah. And I don't know if SJM wrote it with purpose for that. It's just I think it's always kind of done with this, I'm better than you. You're all just kind of specks of you're the lint on my jacket.
Right.
But, you have this added layer of all of that. But that's where it comes into sometimes good writing is just innate and you can't always do it. But I agree with you. I'm writing a list of ticks in my head now.
Yep.
But I also love the idea that they both like to be clean. We talk a lot about their journey of being clean and the fact that they come together in dirty, dirty paint.
I want to expand on Amy's theory because when's the first time Feyre smiles for Rhys?
Oh, when she's underneath the stars and she gets face fatter.
They both get star goo on them.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's the beginning of their dismantling this idea of we must be clean, I'm not clean enough. And they're coming together as dirty beings.
Because they feel like they both might be dirty and they're coming together in that form. And not even worried about what kind of UTI is going to come from the paint.
Exactly. And they learn to love each other as they are, as dirty beings.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Great job. Oh.
Can I take credit?
Can you be the Amy?
Can I be the Amy?
You're turns out I am the Amy. I was the Amy the whole time.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This next message is from Jess. I really love the interview with Gabriel Michael, who, if anyone doesn't know, plays Lucien in the graphic audio adaptation of Thorns and Roses series. And if you haven't listened to that interview yet, please listen to it because Gabriel is phenomenal.
And it was a life-changing moment for us.
It was. We like Lucien because of Gabriel.
Yes.
I've been mulling over his interpretation of the mating bond as something that takes away agency and choice from those involved. I think he has a point, as Nesta says in ACOWAR, that the mating bond is a Fae idea, not a human one. And we know that SJM loves the human heart. Rhys, Farrah, Cassian, and Nesta all fall in love with their mates before they've accepted or become fully aware of the mating bond. In contrast, Lucien and Elain know of the bond right off the bat before any love or intimacy can develop. And I think it kind of dooms them. Sorry, Lucien stans. I have no skin in this game, just my interpretation. I have thoughts.
I know you. I knew you would. I included this one just for you.
Would you like to think first?
No, you go
I
ahead.
get to think first? Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I forgot I was going to think. No. Okay. So here is why I'm going to use your point, Jess, and show you why it is, in fact, why Elain and Lucien will be. To your point, SJM has developed a pattern. You have two sisters who've met their mate counterparts as human. They were there when they turned. They fell in love first. But at the same time, like, you know, they fell in love and then they found out they were mates. You know, like they were kind of like always doomed to be together. Not doomed, but like they were going to fall in love. There's been a lot of talk about, and Farrah's been the one who's brought it up, of where's the choice? Why isn't there a choice? Why can't Elain choose to not be with Lucien? And I think that SJM needed the third sister to be so different and have such a different path so that it's not so copy-paste.
Mm-hmm.
And Azriel would have been a copy-paste, even though it's not her mate. But where I think it's going to be is that the difference is, and I'll argue that Farrah and Nesta didn't choose their mate because they fell in love with them in proximity. Like,
yeah.
You know, they found out they were mates after, but they didn't really choose it. Like they're spending time with the person they're meant to be with. Of course, you're going to fall in love with them,
right?
You know, so there was no choice there. But Elaine's going to be the one who makes the choice, and that's what's going to make her separate and different. And I don't think it dooms them. I think it confirms them.
I think it creates more resistance for them.
Yeah,
and I think that it's going to create the more interesting love story.
Even more interesting, and then Elain and Azriel.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want Elain and Lucien to be together, but I do see how SJM could be setting up a very difficult love story for them that makes us fall in love with them.
Yeah, I mean, Azriel to me is such a red herring. It's so obvious. He's the third bat boy. She's the third sister. Like,
right.
Of course, they've been flirting.
And he even says it in his point of view in this Silver Flame secret chapter.
Yeah, he's like, why can't I have one? Like, I want a sister.
Right. 3 sisters, 3 friends. It
Collect
just makes
them all.
sense.
Yeah, like, let's go. But like, you know, I think people are like, they're setting them up together. And it's like, you're setting up the first act. That's all that is.
Yeah.
You're not setting them up together. Think about Mist and Fury, Farrah and Rhys. They're not set up together.
Right.
She's with someone else.
Right.
Think about with Silver Flames. Frost and Starlight essentially was like Cassian and Nesta are no more.
Right. It tore down everything we came to expect from Wings and Ruin.
So they weren't together in the first act. Like, they're not the first act story.
Right.
Elain and Azriel, they're 2 first act.
You could argue, well, Grayson was Elaine's first act, but he's not who we see her interact with. We see her interact with Azriel.
Well, I mean, it's the same way that, like, Tamlin was, when I say first act, I mean first act of the book. Like,
no, I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you because a lot of us are going to want Elain with Azriel because of what we've seen of them when it comes to Elaine's story, and that might be the first act, but that's not where it's going to end.
Yeah, it leaves it off so much of like they're going to pick up immediately after. Now, spoiler for SJM Universe, all that is a giant caveat because in the 3rd Crescent City book, I don't think we're going to get tons of character development from the ACOTAR team, but that then moves this whole Elain and Azriel are set up for the first act vibe.
Right.
You know, so had the book series picked up immediately right after where Silver Flames left off, it would have been like, there's no chance they stand a chance together. But I'd be curious with that 3rd Crescent City book to see what Elain and Azriel's side stories are, because we're not going to get their point of view.
It's going to be interesting to see them through Bryce's eyes.
Yeah.
And how the 2 of them interact and how Bryce interprets it. because it's just going to throw everybody for a fucking loop.
Yeah, I mean, the only way if it like extra throws people for a loop is if we find out Azriel's mate is actually someone from this other world, which I don't think it is.
I don't think so either.
No, but some people think it's Bryce. We're not those people.
We are not those people. All the signs show that Hunt is her mate.
Yeah, but you know what? Love messy drama. So whatever you want to do, SJM, I'm here for it.
Just give me the angst. I want the angst. I want to hurt.
Yeah, give me the angst, but not the angst of having to wait another 2 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not the angst I want. Thank you for listening to this mini episode of Book Talk for Book Talk. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform.
We would love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com or via our CamFlare voicemail system. Please visit booktalkforbooktalk.com for more information.
You can also follow us on TikTok or Instagram at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Bye!
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because you know I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. Like my entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.